Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Every Day is Saturday. I'm your host, Brad Gotto. I am missing my normal co-host with me here, Matt Stahl, but I do have a special episode, if you will, a special announcement to make in this episode. But I'm going to start with kind of an analogy, a story, and that is that have you ever been through something in life or had a situation in life where it was time for kind of an update or a rebrand or a rebuild or something like that? I've gone through a couple of these recently. We do this quite a bit at Fiat, actually. But personally, my wife and I just went through a remodel on our home. Not all of our home, but parts of our home. The process was supposed to have taken 3, maybe 4 months is what the contractor told us. All of you out there who have been through a remodel before are probably already laughing, knowing that that's not what happened, because it's not. It took about a year for that process to happen. Now that it's done, it's awesome. We love it. The process of going through that rebuild or that remodel wasn't amazing, but we knew there was going to be something positive on the back end, so we did it anyway. The other example I would give you is I'm a classic car guy. If you know me well at all, you know that about me. The first ever classic car I got and still have is a 1971 Dodge Challenger RT. It was one of my dream cars. I love it. I've had it for almost 3 years. And when I got it, it was pretty well restored and rebuilt. But there were some things that still needed to get done. And so I did that over the winter. I took it into a shop here locally in the Minneapolis area that specializes in classic cars. And they did the work that needed to be done. And that too was a painful process. It cost me more than I anticipated. It took longer than I anticipated. And so when spring hit and like that first nice day hit and I wanted to drive the car, I couldn't because it wasn't back yet. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that sometimes as time goes on, work just needs to be done. You have to continue to kind of maintain things. You can't just let them go. You live in your house for 10, 15 years. You can't just live in it. You have to like work to keep it nice. Same thing with like my car situation. This podcast is no different. If you've been part of the Every Day is Saturday podcast, let me tell you how long you've been a part of it. We released our first episode of Every Day is Saturday 1,211 days ago, give or take. That was in April of 2021. And the very first episode of Every Day is Saturday is Who is Brad Gotto? And then the second episode was same about the co-host Matt Stahl. And so those were our first 2 episodes of Every Day is Saturday. And since then, we haven't missed a beat. We've been releasing episodes bi-weekly over the last essentially 4 years and had a lot of fun doing it and plan on continuing to do that. Not only did we start 1,211 days ago, since that point in time, we've released 86 episodes. And in those 86 episodes, roughly, there's a little bit of an estimation here. So if one of you takes the time to go back and add up all of the minutes of all 86 episodes, I didn't do that. I averaged them out. It's about 60 hours of content. Well, after 4 years, 1,211 days ago, 86 episodes and about 60 hours of content, it's time for a remodel. It's time for a restoration. It's time to basically lower the curtain and revamp some things and then come back to you with some kind of new and fresh ideas and fresh kind of format for the podcast. So this episode is a temporary see you later. And what I mean by that is we're going to stop releasing episodes, new episodes of Every Day is Saturday until 2025. So we're going to take about 4 months off. And during those 4 months, we're going to be remodeling, restoring, however you want to put it, the Every Day is Saturday podcast. I'm not saying that we're going to come back and you're going to have a completely new home. And you should expect something completely different. It's not like we're going to go from a financial services style podcast into a podcast about classic cars. That's not what we're doing. Okay. There's going to be a lot of similarities. So like remodeling your home, it's going to be the same home. It's going to be a lot of similarities of what you're used to, but we're hoping to elevate it a little bit. We've got some other changes that we just want to make. And so we don't want to try to do that. I'm going to use the car analogy again while we're driving the car down the road. We don't want to try to work on it while we're driving it. So we're going to park the car for just a little bit. We're going to work on it and we're going to come back to you in 2025. And so more details to come if you're part of the Every Day is Saturday or Fiat inner circle, so to speak, and you're receiving our newsletter and information. We'll give updates as we get closer to 2025 of when I guess episode 87 would be released, when the next new episode will be released. In the meantime, all the other 86 episodes are always going to be out there for you to listen to and go back and listen to anything again that you want. That being said, if you're not going to do that, you're just waiting for new episodes, stay tuned to the announcements through our newsletter and other social media and other platforms where we try to keep all of you informed of what we're doing over here. So that being said, this is not a goodbye. It is a see you later for the Everyday is Saturday podcast. We're going to get to work over here and very excited about what we're going to be bringing to you in 2025. So I'm going to leave you with that cliffhanger. I'm not going to tell you exactly what's changing or why it's changing. We'll bring all of that out in the new episode and kind of the rebranded, reformatted, if you will, remodeled, restored version of Every Day is Saturday. Until then, enjoy the rest of 2024, at least from this format's perspective, and we will see all of you back here next Saturday, 2025.
Thank you for listening to Every Day is Saturday. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Fiat Wealth Management. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning.